Okay, first we're going to talk about adding with mixed numbers. Remember, at the end of this, I will give you a bonus word that you will be able to get extra credit on your test. So starting off with adding mixed numbers, over here in the yellow, I have our instructions, okay, our step-by-step. So looking at number 1, we go to see if we have, it says look at the denominator. Denominator, denominator. For right now, ignore the whole numbers. Okay, if they're different, create equivalent fractions with the same denominator, and if they're the same, go to number 2. Well, 4 is the same number, so we're going to skip to number 2. So now we're going to look at the numerator, which is 1 and 3. Look at our symbol, our operation tells us to add. So we're just going to straight add. 3 plus 1 is 4 over 4. Okay, now we're done. We're done with step 2. Now 3 says add or subtract our whole numbers. Okay, so we're going to add 2 plus 3, which is 5. So our answer is 5 4/4, but we're not quite done yet. We can actually simplify that. So we talked about the other day that 4 over 4 is equal to 1. So this answer is going to be a whole 6. Okay, we can create our onesie. Remember, I'm really good at drawing the ones. A onesie over this, 5 plus 1 equals 6. Okay, moving on to number 2. Again, we'll keep looking at our steps over there. Okay, so the first step says look at the denominator. So we're going to look at our denominator. They are different. 4 and 8 are different. So we're going to create equivalent fractions. Remember, we do this by listing all the multiples. So we're going to list the multiples for 4 and for 8. Start by counting by 4s. 4, 8, 12. We can start with 8, 16, 24. We already can tell that 8 is our common multiple. So we're going to want to create two equivalent fractions to where 8 is in our denominator. This first one can stay the same because 8 is already in the denominator. The second one we're going to have to change. So we have 1/4 equals something over 8. Okay, now you ask yourself, how did I get from 4 to 8? Multiplied by 2. Then we multiply the top. Remember, what I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So now I have 2 8s. Excuse me. So now, let me move my paper down here a little bit. My new fractions are 1 and 1/8 plus 4 and 2/8. Okay, so now I can start all around my steps again. Now my denominators are the same. So now I can add. Now I add the numerator. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So I have 3/8. And I add my whole number, which is 5. Now I ask myself, can I simplify? And 3 is prime, and 3 does not go into 8, so I am done. So I can box my answer as done. Okay, now going on. Okay, my steps are still here, same exact step, same exact post-it note. Okay, first step, we look to see. Look at our denominators. Our denominators are the same. So we can just straight subtract now. We can skip to step 2. So look at the numerator, add or subtract. And it says if you can't subtract, we create a onesie to borrow. On here, we can actually subtract 3 from 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2. Again, our denominator will always stay the same. And then we use our whole number. 2 minus 1 is 1. Now we have to look to see if we can simplify. We can simplify 2/4. Okay, so we ask ourselves, what can both go into 2 and to 4? Since those are both even numbers, let's just divide by 2. Divide by 2. Divide by 2, and that equals 1/4. Sorry. I can't find the eraser. Sorry, 4 divided by 2, 1/2. Okay, and then that's it. So we have 1 and 1/2 as our final answer. Remember, you cannot forget about the whole number. Okay, looking at our second one, this is where we're getting tripped up in class. Okay, this one's a little bit more difficult. So we look at step 1, look at our denominators. We have 3 and 4. Those are different. We see that. So now we're going to create our table, 3 and 4, to create our common multiples. We're going to count by 3s, 3, 6, 9, 12, 4, 8, 12. You can see that 12 is our common denominator. Okay, when 3 and 4, it's always going to be 12. That should be one that y'all start to be able to memorize and you'll start to recognize it. Now we're going to create two equivalent fractions. So we have 1/3 equals something over 12, and 2/4 also equals something over 12. So we look to see how many times can 3 go into 12, and we know that that is 4 times. When we do the bottom, we have to do the top. 1 times 4 is 4. Same thing on this side. 4 times 3 gives us 12. Do the same thing to the top. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, so now we have our new fractions. Okay, we have 3 and 4/12 minus 2 and 6/12. Okay, well now we have a problem. Do we see the problem? Okay, looking back up at our steps, if we can't subtract, we have to create a onesie. Okay, we cannot subtract 6 from 4. Okay, we cannot say 4 minus 6. Okay, this is not a problem. Okay, so now we're going to look at this, and now here's where we have to create the onesie. Here's the tricky part. Okay, so we create a onesie by borrowing. Okay, remember we talked about borrowing. We cannot subtract 6 from 4, so we're going to look at our 4, and we're also going to look at our 3. The 3 is the important number here. That's how we have to borrow. Okay, so we take 1 away from 3, and we make the 3 be a 2. Okay, now we create our onesie. So we have our onesie. And what goes in our onesie? We have to look at our denominator. The 12 is going to be in our onesie. So we have 12 over 12. So I know that's kind of hard to see. Okay, remember that 2 plus 12 over 12 equals 3. Okay, this equals this. These are equal. Okay, now we have to add back in the 4/12. So we add back in 4/12. So now we have 12/12 plus 4/12, which equals 16/12. Still with me? And 2 is our whole number also. This 2 will stay the same. So now we have 2 and 16/12 minus 2 and 6/12. Okay, this number is just going straight down. Okay, no tricks there. Now we look at our numerator because our denominators are the same. So we can go back up to our top, look at the denominators. Our denominators are the same, so we can just subtract. Okay, 16 minus 6 is 10, and our denominator stays the same. And we look at our whole numbers. 2 minus 2 is 0. So 10/12 is almost done. We're going to simplify it. Okay, we have 10/12. We know that we can simplify this because they're both even numbers. So we can divide our top and bottom by 2. So we are equal to 5/6. So this is our final answer. And we're done. Okay, the bonus word, I'm going to write it over here in the corner if it'll let me. Okay, the bonus word, which will give you extra credit on your test, is going to be red turtle. Okay, I want this on a note card, index card, and you can put it on my desk, and that will give you 5 extra points on your test.